Every day, life silently asks you one question. Are you in control of yourself, or are you reacting to everything around you? Most people never stop to answer it. They spend their lives reacting, resisting, and regretting. Stoicism exists to end that cycle. Stay with this video until the end, and you will learn how the Stoics built calm, discipline, and unshakable strength in a chaotic world. Stoicism, boundaries, toxic behavior, inner peace, self-respect. If someone constantly drains your energy, disrespects your boundaries, and poisons your peace, yet you still tolerate them because they're family, this message is for you. Stoicism teaches a hard truth most people avoid. Blood does not justify abuse. History does not excuse harm. Love does not require self-destruction. Many people think Stoicism is about enduring everything in silence. That is a misunderstanding. Stoicism is not about tolerating toxicity. It is about protecting the integrity of your soul. The Stoics believed your peace is sacred. Anything that repeatedly attacks it, no matter who it comes from, must be examined, confronted, or removed. In this series, we will explore 6 toxic behaviors you should never tolerate, not even from family. This is part 1, where we lay the philosophical foundation and examine the first 2. The Stoic Foundation: Why Tolerance Has Limits. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake, I'll gladly change. I seek the truth." But he also wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We love ourselves more than other people, yet care more about their opinions than our own." Stoicism does not ask you to endure mistreatment endlessly. It asks you to live according to virtue, reason, and self-respect. Tolerating toxic behavior is not virtuous. It is a quiet betrayal of your own rational nature. There is a difference between patience versus self-abandonment, compassion versus self-erasure, forgiveness versus permission for harm. Stoics draw that line clearly. Toxic behavior number 1. Chronic disrespect disguised as "that's just how they are." One of the most dangerous toxic behaviors is normalized disrespect. It sounds like this: "They don't mean it like that. That's just how they talk. You're too sensitive. They've always been this way." From a Stoic perspective, this is intellectual dishonesty. Epictetus was brutally clear. If someone treats you badly, remember it is their judgment that leads them to act this way, but you are not required to accept it. Disrespect becomes toxic when it is repeated, unapologetic, dismissed as normal, and especially when it comes from family, it is often wrapped in guilt. You should be used to it by now. Stoicism teaches that character matters more than comfort. If someone repeatedly talks over you, belittles your thoughts, mocks your values, invalidates your emotions, they are not being honest. They are violating the boundary of mutual dignity. The Stoic rule: you are not obligated to absorb disrespect to keep peace. Peace that requires humiliation is not peace, it is submission. A Stoic response is calm, firm, and unemotional. I will not continue this conversation if I am spoken to this way. No shouting, no explaining yourself endlessly, no emotional defense, just clarity.
because Stoics understand what you tolerate trains people how to treat you. Why Stoics do not argue with disrespect. Marcus Aurelius warned against wasting energy on people unwilling to reason. You can hold your breath until you turn blue, but they'll still go on doing it. Stoicism does not passive, it is selective engagement. If someone consistently disrespects you and refuses accountability, the Stoic move is not argument, it is distance. Distance is not punishment, it is protection. Toxic behavior number 2, emotional manipulation through guilt and obligation. This is one of the most common and most invisible forms of toxicity in families. It sounds gentle, but it is corrosive. Examples. After all I've done for you. Family doesn't say no. You're breaking my heart. If you loved me, you would. This is emotional coercion. The Stoics were deeply suspicious of manipulation dressed in virtue. Seneca wrote, "No one is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Emotional manipulation prevents growth. It replaces reason with fear and guilt. A Stoic understands love does not demand self-betrayal. Obligation without choice is not virtue. Guilt is not the same as responsibility. The Stoic lens on guilt. Stoicism asks one question: is this within my control and aligned with virtue? If someone uses guilt to control your choices, override your values, drain your energy, trap you in roles you've outgrown, then the issue is not your refusal, the issue is their entitlement. Epictetus said, "If you want to be invincible, make sure that no one has the power to disturb your inner peace." Guilt is one of the fastest ways people invade your inner peace with your permission. Why Stoics reject emotional blackmail. Stoics do not confuse kindness with compliance. You can be compassionate without surrendering autonomy. You can care without being controlled. A Stoic response to guilt is simple. I understand how you feel, and this is still my decision. No justification, no apology for existing, no emotional collapse, just grounded resolve. The deeper Stoic truth: family is not a moral exemption. This is uncomfortable but necessary. Stoicism judges behavior, not titles. Being a parent, sibling, or relative does not grant immunity from accountability. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, begin the morning by saying, "Today I shall meet interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty." He did not add, "except from family." Stoics prepare for human flaws everywhere and respond with wisdom, not self-sacrifice. Closing reflection, Part 1. Stoicism is not about hardening your heart. It is about strengthening your spine. In Part 1, you've learned that disrespect normalized over time is still disrespect. Guilt is often a tool of control, not love. Family ties do not override self-respect. Calm boundaries are more powerful than emotional arguments.
6 toxic behaviors you should never tolerate, even from family. If someone is slowly draining your peace, confusing your mind, and weakening your self-respect, that is not love. That is poison. Stoicism teaches a hard truth most people avoid. Not everyone who shares your blood deserves access to your soul. In Part 1, we exposed the first toxic behaviors that silently erode your strength. Now, in Part 2, we go deeper into the behaviors that are harder to see, harder to confront, and far more dangerous because they often come disguised as care, concern, or family duty. The Stoic does not react emotionally. The Stoic sees clearly and acts with reason. Let us continue. Toxic behavior number 3. Emotional manipulation disguised as love. This is one of the most destructive behaviors because it does not look abusive on the surface. It sounds like, "I only say this because I care. After everything I've done for you, you're hurting me by not doing what I ask." At first, it feels like concern. Over time, it becomes emotional captivity. What is really happening? Emotional manipulation works by attaching guilt to obedience. The manipulator does not ask directly. They engineer emotions so that you feel forced to comply. They want control over your decisions, your time, your priorities, your sense of self-worth. And they achieve this by making you responsible for their emotional state. Why Stoics reject this completely? Epictetus warned, "If you want to be free, refuse to be controlled by what is not yours." Another person's emotions are not yours to manage. The Stoic understands. Compassion does not mean submission. Love does not require self-betrayal. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. If someone needs you to feel guilty in order to comply, they are not loving you. They are using you. Stoic response. The Stoic does not argue emotionally. The Stoic responds with calm boundaries, not explaining endlessly, justifying every choice, defending your character, but simply, "I understand how you feel. This is still my decision." No anger, no apology for having a spine. Toxic behavior number 4. Chronic criticism that destroys confidence. Criticism becomes toxic when it is constant, one-sided, never balanced with respect. This is not guidance. This is psychological erosion. How it appears. They mock your goals, dismiss your growth, highlight your flaws publicly, undermine your confidence for your own good. Over time, you start doubting yourself, shrinking your ambitions, seeking approval instead of truth. Why this is so dangerous? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not let another's judgment of you become your prison." Chronic criticism rewires your inner voice. Soon, you become the one attacking yourself. This is how intelligent, capable people become hesitant, anxious, and small. The Stoic sees this clearly. Constructive feedback aims to strengthen. Toxic criticism aims to dominate. One builds character, the other destroys it. Stoic rule. Never accept guidance from someone who does not live by the standards they demand of you. If someone constantly criticizes but never grows themselves, their words carry no authority. The Stoic listens only to reason, evidence, virtue, not insecurity disguised as advice. Toxic behavior number 5. Boundary violations normalized as family rights. This is where many people break, because society tells you family comes first. You owe them. Blood is thicker than water. Stoicism says something different. Character is thicker than blood. What boundary violations look like: demanding access to your time, ignoring your limits, inserting themselves into your private decisions,
punishing you emotionally when you say no. They treat your boundaries as insults. The Stoic truth. Seneca warned, "No man is free who cannot command himself." If you cannot say no, you are not acting from virtue. You are acting from fear. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are self-respect in action. Stoic practice. You do not need loud confrontations, emotional explanations. You need consistency, calm firmness, action aligned with values. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate, not what you explain. Why Stoics do not hate toxic people. This is important. Stoicism teaches clarity without attachment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People act as they do because they do not know better." But understanding does not mean exposure. You can understand someone, forgive someone, still limit access. Distance is not revenge. It is self-preservation. The inner shift that changes everything. At some point, every Stoic realizes this. Peace is more valuable than approval. When you stop trying to be understood by everyone, please those who disrespect you, heal people who refuse to change, you recover energy, focus, self-respect, and something powerful happens. Your presence changes, your decisions sharpen, your tolerance for nonsense disappears. Part 3. The Stoic line you must never let anyone cross. Stoicism, self-respect, inner sovereignty, emotional discipline. If you've stayed this far, understand this. A Stoic does not seek conflict, but never lives without boundaries. Most suffering does not come from enemies. It comes from what we tolerate too long. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." But he never said to allow abuse, disrespect, or corruption of your character. This final part is about the invisible line. The one that once crossed requires not anger, but distance. Toxic behavior number 5. Emotional manipulation disguised as love. This is one of the most dangerous behaviors because it hides behind affection. It sounds like, "If you really cared, you'd do this. After everything I've done for you, you're hurting me by saying no." This is not love. This is control through guilt. The Stoics believed love must be aligned with virtue, not dependency. Seneca wrote, "He who loves wisely is free." Manipulation traps you in emotional debt, a debt that never ends, because the manipulator keeps changing the price. A Stoic response is simple and firm. You acknowledge feelings. You refuse coercion. You act according to reason, not guilt. You are not responsible for regulating another person's emotions. Compassion does not require self-betrayal. Toxic behavior number 6. Chronic disrespect of boundaries. A boundary crossed once may be ignorance. A boundary crossed repeatedly is intentional disrespect. Examples: they mock your values. They ignore your no. They minimize your limits. They pressure you to compromise your principles. Epictetus was clear. If you wish to be invincible, make no treaty with what degrades your character. A Stoic does not argue endlessly about boundaries. They state them once, calmly, clearly. If the behavior continues, the Stoic does not escalate emotionally. They withdraw access. Boundaries are not punishments, they are filters. Anyone who resents your boundaries was benefiting from your lack of them. Why Stoics walk away without drama? Modern culture glorifies confrontation. Stoicism values clarity. Walking away is not weakness, it is precision. Marcus Aurelius again. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Stoics do not announce their exits. They become unavailable. No speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional explanations. Because explanation invites negotiation, and your dignity is not negotiable. The hard truth: family is not exempt. Stoicism does not romanticize blood ties. Virtue is the measure, not relation. If someone repeatedly undermines your growth, disrespects your boundaries, drains your peace, corrupts your character, then distance is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. You can love someone and still limit access. Stoics understood this deeply. You are not required to sacrifice your soul to maintain appearances. The Stoic test: one question that clarifies everything. Before tolerating any behavior, ask yourself, does this make me less virtuous, less calm, or less myself? If the answer is yes, the cost is too high. No connection is worth inner collapse. How a Stoic enforces boundaries without anger. Clarity over emotion. Say what is acceptable once. Consistency over persuasion. Do not argue, act. Distance over drama. Reduce exposure quietly. Self-command over reaction. No revenge, no bitterness. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Other people's behavior is beyond your control. Your response is not. The final Stoic standard. A Stoic does not tolerate repeated disrespect, manipulation, character erosion, emotional chaos. Not because they are harsh, but because they are serious about who they become. Your peace is not fragile, it is disciplined. Your calm is not passive, it is trained. And your silence is not submission, it is final. Closing reflection. The strongest Stoic is not the one who endures everything, but the one who knows what to walk away from. Because in the end, you are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to live in alignment with reason, virtue, and self-respect. And anything that threatens that, you let it go.
You don't need to escape the world. You don't need to control others. You don't need perfect conditions. You need mastery over your own mind. Because when your inner world is stable, no external storm can shake you. This is not ancient philosophy. This is how strong people survive and rise quietly.